Now please welcome Natasha Zouves to the stage. She will be speaking with Dave Crete, one of the Area 51 veterans featured in her investigative reporting. He is also chair of the Invisible Enemy Foundation.
Thank you.
What an honor for me to be with all of you today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And can we have a round of applause for Dave Crete? Far more important than me. And it's so great to have you here, Dave. Welcome.
Well, thank you. And just so everybody knows, the reason we've had so much success in spreading our message and being able to communicate what's happened is because of Natasha.
Thank you, Dave.
She is my favorite news anchor.
I will take it. I will take it a million times. Dave, thank you so much. What does it feel like to watch the piece back? I know that things have changed so enormously for you since this aired in February. One of the clips of you, I think, has more than 9 million views. What does it feel like to know that your message is out there in a big way?
It's incredible. I mean, I speak, this is really an emotional thing for me because it's so personal. But at the same time, it's like I'm nobody from somewhere. And I tell people that all the time. And look at this. I mean, I'm a real estate broker at a little firm in Vegas that my wife and I own. And here I am in D.C. walking the halls of Congress and being able to speak to you. It's such a huge honor. It's indescribable.
Yeah. What is the emotion there for you, Dave? I see.
Oh no, my kid's doing over/under on 7 seconds before Dad gets emotional about things. It's always the under. But this story it's a horrific story when you really understand it, and it's really personal because it's not only what it's done to me, done to the guys, men and women that I served with, many of whom have already passed. But what it's done to our kids, because the radiation that we experienced genetically changed us. Our chromosomes are now permanently different. So that goes to our kids. And so all of my kids, they all have lifelong issues. That's a tough one. Imagine taking that home. And, my youngest got a diagnosis this week. She's been trying to find stuff forever. I can't even tell you the words in it yet. Got to have my wife's help on that one. But it is a lifelong problem for her. And it's a very personal issue. So, yeah, it's tough.
I know your son was born with a brain tumor as well. Mm-hmm. Cafe au lait spots all over his body when he was first born. You've said that those are the most innocent victims of all of this.
Yeah, they are. And my kids aren't unique or special. It's all of our kids. I shouldn't say all. I mean, that's an exaggeration. But it is a significant number of the kids, of those of us that served up there, that are going to have problems forever. And they didn't do anything except be born.
I know, Dave, you are the one who gets the phone call. You are the one that the family members call and tell you that their loved one has passed away, a fellow veteran who served on the range with you. I believe the memorial list, when this aired back in February, was at 446. Do you know what that number is today?
Yeah, we're well over 500. I think we're getting up around 520.
Wow.
So, and that list is 2 years old. And you can imagine, we weren't some big base. These are little places out in the desert. And it was all DOD contractors and military. And yeah, it's a pretty significant number. One of the units believes that they've lost about 2/3. I'm 60. We shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, the average age on the memorial list, I believe, is 65 years old. You have said we all know what our cause of death will be. Tell me more about that. What does that mean to you?
So, one of the guys that you saw, he's the one on the feeding tube. I think he's at round 6 or 7 with cancer. Another one of the guys who says we were in the dirt all the time, he retired out of the Air Force as a chief. He's on his 4th bout of cancer. I have a whole long list of stupid stuff. Half the time I forget some of it. But I have left brain atrophy. Left side of my brain is shrinking. I have a brain cyst. I have vestibular issues. I have 67% lung function. I've got about 20 tumors around my body still. I have tremors, like Parkinson's type tremors. It is what it is, you know. The one thing you'll find, and Natasha knows, all of us are super proud of what we did. I mean, we did the super secret squirrel stuff and got to play with the cool kids' toys and, you know, and did all kinds of stuff. I mean, I went up when I was 18 years old and I saw a flight line full of Russian MiGs and I was told I was at a U.S. air base. You know, literally, there was like 20 Russian MiGs outside the window because we'd fly to work. And then a little bit later, after we got all of our credentials and stuff, a pilot sat us down in the cockpit of an F-117, and there was only a few. And he's like, this is what we do. This is what you're here for. 18-year-olds don't do that stuff.
Young men and women handpicked, sent for top secret missions, couldn't tell your spouse where you were going, couldn't tell them what you were doing. Still, you can only tell me one of the missions that you were involved in. I asked. You are keeping that promise. Everyone's okay. Do we need help over there? We're good? All right, we're good to go.
Quite literally.
Okay. Dave, I'm curious, what is the feeling for you? There is such pride in the service and pride in the work. To now be told that you are data masked, when you all speak to the VA, when they try to check your records for treatment, et cetera, you get that message back, data masked, data masked. You say that this just happened again to you this week. There's a denial that you ever served out there in the range. What is the feeling there? Yeah,
well, so our issue is, I left the range 38 years ago, and our records are still data masked. So we were never there. So the fight that we fight is that the DOD says there isn't there, therefore you weren't there, therefore you weren't exposed, not our problem. So I had reapplied for my brain cyst and brain atrophy, and I was denied this week. They said, well, you can't prove exposure to radiation. You could walk to a detonation location from my dormitory uprange, from the front gate of the work area uprange. You literally could walk there. Even the Air Force, all right? And Marines can walk across a planet. But us Air Force guys, you know, a few miles might be the limit, and you can get there. It's sad. Yeah. And tell me about this distinction. It's fascinating because DOE workers who served at the exact same site, the exact same range, who worked at the exact same range, but for far shorter periods of time. They were not stationed up there day and night, for days and days on end. They went to work there during the day. They're covered. They have presumptive exposure to the radiation and the toxins that are up there. Why is it that veterans are not also covered? Tell me about that distinction. So there's a bill that's called EOIPA, EEOICPA, one of the great acronyms from our government, right? If you worked for the Department of Energy as a contractor, which is who ran our chow halls and built our hangars and did all that, if you were uprange 250 days and you got sick, you're eligible for up to $400,000 in a payment in lifetime medical. You get what's called a white card. And they provide all kinds of treatment and help and stuff for the Department of Energy. But officially, the Department of Defense was never there. Well, I can officially tell you they're wrong. And so we flat out get denied. We have 4 years. If you look at our records, we were on vacation in Vegas. And that's how long I spent uprange. And that was the minimum requirement. You had to go up for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Tell me about this discovery for you. You and these fellow vets, these buddies, sitting around a reunion barbecue at your house. And this is just meant to be an opportunity to catch up, to swap stories. And then there's this discovery. One of them says, hey, I have this tumor. Yeah, so we had the advent of Facebook, we all start finding one another, and we get together for a reunion. It's at my house. Day one of the reunion is everybody's flying in. Those that get there come to the house. And so there was 8 of us sitting in my backyard. And literally, I haven't seen these guys since the 80s. So you would think there's all kinds of things to talk about. But one of the guys, Randy, you saw him on that clip, he asked everybody if anybody had tumors. And so I spoke up and I said I did. And then we went around and 6 out of 8 had tumors. And then one guy says, I didn't have any, but my son was born with a tumor. And then I responded back, my son was born with something called neurofibromatosis. So if you ever saw the movie Mask that Cher did, there was a kid that was real disfigured. Well, there's 2 types of NF, 1 and 2, neurofibromatosis. My son, thankfully, has the one that's not so disfiguring, but that's what he has. It's genetic. The docs call him a spontaneous mutation. That's tough. Then they wonder why. I mean, earlier we're talking about mental problems. You know, it's this kind of stuff. This is why. So, and that, you're probably going to get to it, but I'm going to tell you the thing that piss you off in all of this is when I found a document dated 4 years before they built my base, and that document says that the benefit to national security outweighs the future environmental liabilities. Therefore, the range will continue to exist. That was 4 years before I went up. They took that test just a couple of miles from the front gate of my work area. They said nobody should be here. Crazy. I mean, truly, it's like it's not believable, except for the fact it's a U.S. government document. It was their report. And I sent it to a couple people, and I just said, read this. Am I reading this right? This can't be.
6 out of the 8 men sitting around that barbecue said, I've had a tumor. You say the 7th one said, I don't have one, but my son was born with one. That was the beginning of this discovery. You took this and you ran with it, not just for yourself, but for all of the people that you served with on that range, for all of the families who keep calling you, reporting that there's another name to add to the memorial list. Right after we speak here today, where are you going, Dave?
To the White House.
Tell me more about that.
Talk about nobody from somewhere. I got to walk across the street, and I don't even know who I'm talking to. I don't care. I'm going in the building to tell the story, and by God, somebody's going to listen. So, and that's also because sitting here. So I got to make her choke up. I choke up all the time.
I spent the entire time crying when I was at Dave's house around that kitchen table with him and all of the other vets. I've told Dave this. It's been, shoot. Yeah, you did it.
See, there you go.
You did it. It's been the honor of my career so far. Just getting to spotlight some of this and help this fight as it goes forward. Dave, there have been several pieces of legislation since this story aired. What is giving you the most hope so far? What is the path forward? So
our path forward, this is some of the incredible things. I mean, I started this 2.5 years ago, and we all know how Congress works. So I talked to Congressman Amodei, the congressman from Nevada, and I said, I need a piece of legislation. I never talked to him before. Within 45 minutes, he put in the request. That's pretty incredible. And then Senator Rosen from Nevada started tracking what was going on in the House, and we now have a bill in the Senate. So it's H.R. 1400 in the House, it's S. 2220 in the Senate, and then we have amendments on the NDAA, and that's been my work. I've been here 2 of the last 3 weeks.
And you believe that the amendments on the NDAA is the most hopeful path, the most expedient path so far, is that correct?
Yeah, it's what the NDAA is going to do, it's going to really be our first step. And that is for the Air Force to come out and say, or the DOD to come out and say, you were exposed. And now all of a sudden a whole bunch of our issues, like brain atrophy, becomes presumptive, and we can service connect them. And that's huge. And our hang up right now is we've got to get Speaker Johnson to give us a waiver because we got scored, okay? CBO scoring. It's Latin for this is going to cost somebody money. And our cost, I looked up last year's defense budget, it was like $833 billion. Something just unimaginable. Ours is $115 million over 10 years. That's what it takes for us to be acknowledged. And they say there's no money for that. And then I call BS. $833 billion, it sits somewhere. And that denies us our benefits, literally. And if you don't mind, the thing about the benefits that's so important, we can't unwind what happened to me, right? I mean, whatever it is, it is. But when I pass, there's not going to be any DIC benefits for my family, for my wife. She's just cut off. And we know this stuff's service connected. We all suffer from similar stuff. But the government gets to write us off, and they're doing that over $115 million. You've got to be kidding me. So that's why we push.
And I know you feel there's a ticking clock on all of this. As we mentioned, since February, 50-plus veterans who you know of added to that memorial list. I will never forget sitting around that dining room table with you in Vegas, and the sentiment that I heard from you and your fellow vets over and over again was you felt the government was waiting you out. I kept hearing that from every single person I spoke with. Do you still feel that way?
100%. If it's $115 million over 10 years, give me a break. I mean, we have, sadly, there was a great example of what not to follow, and that's what happened to the Vietnam vets with Agent Orange. You know, Congress and the government wanted to pat themselves on the back when they passed the bill 50 years later. Hoorah. I'm not giving them that. You know, I'm not running for office. I'm not doing any of that. But I'm going to beat all of them because we're not waiting that long. We don't have that long. You said 65. It's down to 62 and a half years old. I'm 60. Let that sink in. So we'll get there.
You're 60, the average age, 62 and a half. How do you think about that? How do you conceptualize your future, Dave? I'm
going to have 30 years of borrowed time. It's the only way to look at it. No, I mean, seriously, that's the way I look at it. I love waking up and irritating my wife, and she ain't getting off that easy. And she's probably watching right now, totally agreeing I irritate her every day I wake up.
What is your message to Speaker Johnson today?
Talk to me. And I don't care how, just talk to me. I pray to God somebody can help connect the dots, and I can sit there and say, sir, be a hero to a few folks, and let's have a conversation.
Do you have any thoughts about the administration's intention to restart nuclear testing?
Yeah, I got some ideas there. Yeah, don't do it. What are we going to learn? We blew up, the DOE says like 928 bombs. I can prove to you it was more than that. But what are we going to learn from one more test? There's not a damn thing. We got simulators, we got all kinds of stuff. Nevada's been nuked enough. Leave it alone. The Marshall Islands been nuked enough. God willing, we're going to get to a point in the world where those aren't a weapon that we use to threaten one another with. I get why we have them, 100%. It'd be great to get to a world that didn't need them anymore.
Is there any national security justification for why you and your fellow vets who served out there on the range remain data masked?
No, not in my opinion. I mean, there's things we'll all take to our grave. All of us that serve, there's things that we're just not going to talk about. But it's not about what we did. It's about where we did it, about what happened before we ever got there. And I don't think there's a mystery anywhere that the U.S. government blew up a bunch of nukes somewhere. The mystery is that there was people that actually worked there, sleep there. Our air was contaminated, soil was contaminated, water was contaminated. And they knew it.
When you think about future generations, when you think about your kids, your grandkids, what do you want them to understand about this fight that you're undertaking right now?
You know, what country, I'm a huge patriot. I might be fighting them on something right now, but in what country can nobody from somewhere knock on the door and say, you piss me off, and I'm going to do something about it, and I don't end up in the gulag somewhere? You know, that you don't end up missing somehow. There's a lot of countries in the world you can't do that. And in this one, I can bitch like crazy and say they screwed up and, pound my fist or whatever. And I go home at night and I sleep in a safe home. And you can't do that. My wife's born in Havana, Cuba. They left for a reason. I want them to know. You can wake up. You can make a difference. And if I'm not proof that anybody can't do that, I mean, anybody can do it. Especially if you know Natasha.
You've taken many trips here to D.C. fighting this fight now over the last 3 years so far. Tell me about the difference in reception that you've received. Tell me about what you're experiencing now.
So when I started coming, it was, who the hell are you and what do you want? And who's the lowest staffer on the totem pole that's going to sit with this guy for 5 minutes? And now it's, well, sir, it's wonderful to see you again, Congressman Takano. I'm just going to say it, he's one of the greatest advocates that my group has on Capitol Hill. So thank you, sir. But it's now, our message is resonating, and people are starting to understand who we are, and people truly are listening, and that's incredible. So we've gone a long way from who the hell are you to welcome, and it's beautiful. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
If you could say one thing to the families who have lost someone on the memorial list, what would that be?
God, I say a lot to them. All of this is for those that we've lost and those that follow us. Not only our kids, the service members, there's still people working at these spots, guys. The government still knows what they're doing. That's why they're pissed off I'm talking about it. But they will be remembered. They will be remembered.
I appreciate that, Dave. I want to ask, is there a piece of healing at all in coming forward in this way, in this room of people that we're in today, in the millions of people who have seen the piece so far? We have Congressman Takano, who we're about to speak to in a minute as well, who's been an early champion, to come forward and to finally be believed.
Yeah, it's my biggest worry. Everybody understands that when you work out in this place in the Nevada desert, there is all kinds of rumors, right? There's little green people and all these different things. And so nobody believes you. And the last thing I ever wanted to be was another conspiracy theory. And we're way past that now. And people get it. And I am eternally thankful that people are recognizing what our fight's about.
What is the fight about? What do you want every American to know about this story?
What their government is capable of, number one. And in the end, everyone has the power to fix it. And people don't think so. Our government right now is all screwed up. We all get it, and they're going to work it out, and we know that'll happen too. But if you don't like it, you can literally step up and say, I want to fix it. You can be one of 300 and whatever million people. You can just be one and make a difference.
What does fixing it look like? What does justice look like for you and your fellow vets?
That my wife will get the benefits that she's entitled to. So now y'all know why I get emotional. This is a pretty tough one. But thank you. Thank you. Thanks for giving me 15 minutes of your time and listening. This is how we win.
Appreciate you so much, Dave. Is there a final message that you want to leave us with today?
I I'm going to say this, and this is a little bit off color, not off color, but kind of off topic. Everybody that took an oath took it to a document, right? Our oath didn't go to a party or a president or some other person. We took an oath to a document. And that's one of the things I truly hope everybody remembers. And those of us that are veterans, we know that. We need to remind others that this whole thing is about a document. And that document is why I'm here.
You're going to be going across the street to the White House in just a moment.
I'll be taking some selfies.
I am very excited to see those. I hope you get to meet with the president. If you do, what will you tell him?
It's just a signature, sir. That's all it is. It's just a signature. It's a pick up the phone and call the Speaker of the House and say, just make this done. That's all it is. 30 seconds. And I'll get out of Congressman Takano's hair. He has it.
Yeah.
So thank you, and thank you, and thank you.
Can't thank you enough. Dave Crete, everyone, thank you.
You're awesome.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
For everyone watching the stream, that was a resounding standing ovation for Dave Crete there, and very well deserved. Thank you again, Dave.